What's it? Doggish?
Doggy. It's doggy style, but not the kind you want to do in your kitchen.
Hey guys, Bobby here with my friend Jessica. So Jessica and I were out last night at just hanging out at a bar with a few people, and one of the things that we do sometimes is we like to just observe what's going on, and sometimes laugh about it, sometimes really say, oh, that's kind of a good conversation, bad conversation. And what we want to do today in this video was kind of give you her perspective on what kind of conversation will engage her, intrigue her, want to continue versus the type of conversation that's going to make things really, really boring. So first off, welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Bobby, and thanks everyone for having me.
So I guess the first question I'd have for you is, what is like the worst way a guy can start a conversation? Assuming you're out, hanging out, it's you. Let's use like an example last night. A few of us are standing by the bar. We're having drinks.
Right.
A guy kind of walks over to order his drink. He turns to you, and he wants to start a conversation.
Yes. You said the worst way.
Yeah, let's start with the worst ways because
ways.
that when you hear the worst way, it kind of gives you an insight. Oh shit, that's probably what I was doing, and you can
Right.
maybe recognize it and
Right.
so.
So, I always say there's always two categories that we women put y'all into when it comes to starting conversations with us, and it's either the sheep or the dogs. So the sheep are the people that kind of, fall into the background of your life, the barista at Starbucks, maybe your coworkers that you see every day, people in traffic around you. So when you say stuff like, hey, how you doing? That's kind of something anybody could say to anybody. Any stranger could say it to another stranger. That's a step that we phase out and we think, all right, this really isn't anybody special. Yeah. How special do you feel when I
really
ask
hot
you?
In here.
Yeah, it's really hot in here. How special do you feel when I say that, Bobby?
Not at all.
Very special. The second category is what I call the dogs. These are guys who are looking at us like we're a piece of meat. Like, you don't even know us yet, but you're like, oh, I know I need to eat it. Like, I don't know about you, Bobby. I have dogs. Anytime I whip out, like, a freaking Vienna sausage or anything from, like, a Ziploc bag, they go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
They go crazy. She's like, I just say something. These are the guys that come up to us and say things like, hey, I think you're looking really great. I just had to come say hi. That's that we are right. Now you're only coming to us because you see us as a hot chick, and that's the category we put you in. Again, these are things like, oh my, hey, what's up? How you doing? Looking pretty good over here.
And what's the fine line? So how does a guy express interest? And we'll talk a little bit about the type of conversations, but just because you're talking about looking good, right?
Yes.
That's a compliment in a way. What makes that a bad compliment? Because we were talking off camera, and you said, I love being told that I look good, but how do you do it in a way that's actually intriguing versus, what is it? Doggish?
Doggy. It's doggy style,
Doggy.
but not the kind you want to do in your kitchen. So the way you can compliment a woman, or the way not to compliment a woman in terms of the first thing you're saying, it's one thing to say, like, I think you're looking really good, versus, you're the only woman I've seen in this club who can pull off an outfit like that. Now that's particular. Now what you're doing is you're separating me from all the other meat that you can go and bite. It's making it about me. It's making me feel like, wow, you're not just like every other guy, trying to do tricks for treats. You actually care about what I look like specifically to any other woman in here, because let's be real, there's going to be a lot of women in there who are going to be rolling their eyes and saying, like, look at this guy saying the same shit I heard him say to that girl. So man, that white shirt you're wearing, like, I'd give anything to see that shirt off you. That's something you could say later on. But again, that might sound creepy to you, but because she's the girl wearing a white shirt, you probably don't want to come in that freaking strong, but that's what I mean when I say be that particular and be that specialized to her.
All right, so let's say the guy comes over. Let's say the guy, we're standing by the bar, he comes over, you're drinking your drink, he starts talking to you. He uses, let's just say, although I don't usually recommend the compliment opener or whatever.
Right.
But let's just say he did do that.
Okay.
But he was, you were like in a talkative mood. You're like, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a chance, even though he kind of went in a little too doggish or whatever. Where does the conversation go to veer away from being boring and veer towards like, hey, I'm actually having fun talking to this guy?
Okay, so are we still talking about like the compliment opener?
I'm just talking about, it doesn't matter what he opened. Let's just, we use that as an example. He came over, he said, oh, you pull off that dress really well.
It's a romper, thank you.
And then he wants to continue the conversation.
Uh-huh.
How does he continue it without you rolling your eyes and getting bored, or just saying, giving your friend the help me eyes? Like, okay, this is not really fun.
I mean, one of the traps guys fall into is thinking, all I have to do is start the conversation. That's all I have to do. So maybe you do start the conversation, and she's like, oh, hey, thanks, I just got it. A lot of guys will fall back to, okay, now I have to ask her extremely safe things that don't come off overbearing. And this is where the talk about, like, so what are you doing here? So what do you do for a living? So are you from town? These are all things that nobody gives a shit to hear about or talk about. I don't know about you, Tony, but I don't know how excited, I can't get excited over saying, oh, I'm from New Jersey. How excited do you get over saying that?
Yeah, it's like auto response. You just automatically, the minute that question comes out, you don't even think about it. It's just like, out there, and you're kind of tuned out of the moment because you're just on autopilot.
Right. And these are questions that make a woman feel obligated to talk to you. So now not only have you, all right, now you got in the conversation, but now you're going to make her feel obligated. The second she feels obligated is the second she's going to feel pressure, and that's just a downward spiral from there. So the best way to carry the conversation is not to put these third-party subjects in, like your job, the people in this town, where you go, your drinks. The best thing to do is talk about my experience and your experience. Like right here, I'm like sweating really badly. How bad is your swamp ass, Bobby?
Oh, it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
So basically, we're getting really swampy together. But that's how you do it. The only things that matter are in that moment are me, you, and us.
It's relating, right? It's trying to find a way that is bringing it. What I like to think too is bringing it like you can how I relate to you, even bringing either together or my reaction to you in a sense. Where if you're talking and you say something along the lines, like let's just say you wanted to say, where are you from, right?
Right.
A more, I guess, emotional way to say it, if I was talking to you, would be like, where are you from? Because as you're talking, I literally hear a y'all, a Jersey accent, a Texas accent. I hear like 15 different accents coming at me, and I'm trying to figure out where the hell you're from.
Exactly.
But so.
Well, see, I don't know if you noticed, but even as Bobby's saying this, I am viscerally reacting. I'm having knee-jerk responses because it is tailored to me. And if you're able to do that instead of where you're from, I hear a specific accent. I don't even know what to make of it. Now you're specializing it to her. Now it's not just where are you from. It's I want to know you.
Yeah.
And that's what causes those knee-jerk responses that you just saw just now.
So, okay, now you've got a knee-jerk response. He's got some interest. Give me a topic, right? Because you said, we talked earlier that, all girls like different topics, you don't really know. Either how does he find out what you like in a way without just kind of hammering you with like, so what are you into? What do you know?
Right.
How does he get that out of you naturally to get on a topic that is actually interesting? And I know, I know that the topic itself is always going to be about you, but to carry a 20-minute conversation, where is he steering it?
Okay, we've been talking about this all the live long day in regards to what is interesting. So the most interesting thing that you can possibly talk about with a woman is herself. And you obviously, you might be at home thinking like, okay, so I just have to talk about her. Not necessarily. You don't want to laser focus and make her feel like, oh my God, get over me. The point is to talk about yourself in a way that generates interest from her. That's leading the conversation. If Bobby opens up and says,
that's how memorable our conversation was.
If Bobby says to me, listen, I'm from Jersey, and you know what? I need to know where you're from because I'm hearing a certain way you're saying talk and coffee. Him opening up now gives me the opportunity to relate to him. And if you give her opportunities to relate to you and engage with you, what you're doing is you're making her feel like, ooh, look, I can relate to him. Ooh, look, I'm talking to this guy. It's going to make her feel that much more invested in you and that much more interested in you.
And you can also always find a way, like she said, to bring it back to her by, and if you're kind of, I would say if you're kind of like stuck of how do I bring it back to her, one of the classic things to do is like, you're not like the typical Jersey girl. Because then now it's back to her, she's going to say why, and then you can kind of explain it, and it's still about her. Even if you then go and talk about the typical Jersey girl, it's still related to her.
Right. And yeah, exactly. Your experience. You're not a typical Jersey girl. Like, oh, how do you mean? I don't know. My experience of them is X, Y, Z. And you're probably going to hit it on the head every single time. As long as you're talking about your experience, she will find a way to be like, oh, yeah, definitely. I see what you're saying.
And would you say girls will give you the benefit of the doubt, right? Like
Always.
Because I think a lot of things is that
Always.
because everything you're saying, it's like it's not like complex shit. It's not like he has to say this, this, and this in this really smooth way. It's like
Right.
just make it not boring.
Right, make it yours. I think the things that create, boredom in conversation is stuff that we can't relate to, stuff that we don't have a vested interest in. You're going to be hit or miss talking about your job or the music you like. It's always going to be hit or miss. But if you're always talking about things that you can relate to on a human level, it's going to be 100% hit every single time. So as long as you can cater that experience back to, hey, this is my experience. What's your experience like? She's always going to have a vested interest, and you're going to have a vested interest. And then you're not going to feel bored talking about, like, oh, my job, I work with computers a lot. Like, how excited are you going to be talking about your job?
So I guess the final way I'd like to ask is, okay, so now you're talking. It's kind of back and forth. You're having a good vibe. I mean, obviously, as a girl, if he's talking. You kind of know what he wants, right?
Yes.
But at some point, it has to kind of be more acknowledged, right? The flirting, some kind of teasing. There's got to be something that is like, it goes from like the under the thing to like the moment where like, okay, we're both on the same page here.
We know what's going on here.
So what's a good way a guy can do that to get to that, hit that flirtatious thing?
To hit that flirtatious stage, I always say there's the middle ground between creating interest and intrigue to creating desire is you have to create a positive experience. You gotta get her laughing. I think a lot of people take for granted the fact that, yeah, sure, you can have a great conversation. We can talk all the level and be, oh my God, in Jersey, yeah, oh my God, me in Jersey. But if him and I aren't laughing together, it's gonna be really weird when he's like, man, I don't know, that romper is making me think really dirty things. I'd be like, what the? I thought we were just talking about the Everglades in New Jersey. Yeah. It's gonna come off weird. But the in-between of getting her to laugh lets her feel not just comfortable with you, but now she has a positive experience. So when this guy that she has a positive experience with actually, lets it be known that he wants her, now we're going to be like, ooh, and he wants me? Like, yes, finally. But you have to make her feel good about you first.
Yeah, I think laughter really is social lubrication. It's
Oh,
like
God,
it kind of like lubes it up and makes it like, it's like, oh. So Jess, I know that you have another video and actually a whole training called Speak to Spark Arousal.
Yes.
What exactly, give us some other ideas of what they'll learn. There's a link to check it out below, but, entice us.
So basically, I like that you said that, entice us. So basically, Speak to Spark Arousal takes you through the whole process of creating initial interest and intrigue, and then moving forward to having a positive laughing experience to moving into flirty without being weird or creepy, because a lot of people don't know how to navigate that space in conversation, or they just don't.